Now, I'm assuming you've clicked on this video because you're feeling burnout yourself. And though I can't really help you with that, I can share some insight that might lead you down the right path to be able to take action and change your situation by sharing my own experience, my own story. So if you're interested and you want to see how I left the chefing world and became a filmmaker and turned my life around basically, then yeah, stick around. So how did I end up in the kitchen in the first place? Well, it's quite a simple story. As growing up as a teenager, my parents already ran a small restaurant and then eventually took on a small hotel. And my older brother, he was in catering school too, so I just took the easy route. Went to catering school. By the time I finished catering school, I was 17, about to turn 18, and I went straight to the hotel to work with my parents alongside my brother. Yeah, so that went on for a few years until we eventually had to move on. And from that point onwards, I was just doing some season work down at the beach in France, surfing, and up in the mountains, skiing in winter. Eventually, it just becomes too much, doesn't it? And inevitably, my first burnout, around the age of 25, I would say. This aubergine's fucked, by the way. So by that time, I decided to make a change and I take a break from chefing, and I go up to my local ski resort, work as a shaper. That didn't last long, just didn't cut it, so back to the kitchen it was. Now, I'm not going to bore you with my whole 18 years worth of chefing career, but eventually we took on a restaurant with my brother and my sister-in-law. Did that for 6 years, and I ended up being unhappy, angry most of the time, and I had no real idea what was going on with me until I dug deeper and realized I was burnt out. I was burnt out and I had enough and I needed a change.
Give me your best and your worst and keep me patient.
So how did I transition from chefing to filmmaking? Well, at the time, I was already a bit of a hobbyist photographer, and whilst I was thinking, what could I possibly do with my life, as many of you may have asked yourself many of times in your lifetime. I know I have, many times. Well, I like photography, I like being outdoors. What can I do with that? And so I started taking small online courses, downloading PDFs, 15 euros here, 20 euros there. And then I kept getting these ads for an online course called Full-Time Filmmaker, which basically covers all aspects of the industry broadly: real estate, wedding videography, corporate, you name it, music videos, whatnot. And so I kept watching their videos on YouTube, the free ones, and I eventually took the course. And after, I'd say a year, so this is a year later from when I decided I don't want to chef anymore. I'm done with this. It took me a whole year doing all these online courses and gathering up, buying gear as I went along, doing little things and testing it out, cameras, lenses, mics. And then once I had all the gear, well, that was that. Pulled the trigger and dove into the deep end, which I don't personally recommend. I think you should transition a bit more smoothly, probably do a part-time gigs or, side hustle before it becomes a full-time job, because you might find out you run out of money quite fast. I had quite a bit of savings at the time, so I felt comfortable taking the leap, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, to be honest. So you may or may not have noticed that quite a bit of time has passed since the first part of this video was filmed, and that's because I am a master procrastinator. And that will probably be your first obstacle you've got to surpass. Look, check out these views. I actually came up here to fly my FPV drone and decided that it would be a good time to record the rest of this video, which I have been putting off. I first decided I was going to try YouTube in January. It's now February, it's not February, what you're on about, July. And here I am recording the second part of this video, and knowing myself, it will probably be another 3 months before I record the next part, but I guess we'll find that out once I've uploaded this to YouTube. I will let you know how long it actually took me. Not sure if I'm making any sense right now, but my point is that you have to realize and acknowledge that something's wrong, that you're burnt out, and actually want to change your situation. Then take action, find something you feel passionate or have a big enough interest in that you might think or feel like you want to pursue that as an alternative. Figure out if that's a viable option for you to pursue as a new career, and stop procrastinating like I'm so good at doing, and go for it. I've only just realized how this whole YouTube business thing is actually a lot harder than it seems. You follow all these creators and it seems so natural to them and easy to just speak to the camera and flow, as opposed to like sounding like a complete dork, which is probably how I'm coming across right now. But this is my first video, and I promise, well, not sure if I should promise, but I will try and polish my skills a lot more, and not just so the conversation flows a little bit better. I did try scripting this, and how this holding the camera out in front and recording yourself gets really tiring. Oh. I just put you down on this rock for a second as my shoulder was kind of aching from holding the camera out front of me. It gets a bit heavy after a while. Maybe there's some sort of workout I should do at the gym to practice and get better at that. So yeah, the sun's going down. I'm going to head home, have a look at the footage so far, because I'm not sure if I'm making much sense, and then come back to you. I'm back home, gone through the footage, and I should have taken my own advice back then, because 7 months have gone by since I last recorded part of this video, which means it's taken me just over a year since the day I decided, well, let's start YouTube. I can't remember the exact date, but it was January, I said at the start of the video, and it's now February of the following year. So yeah, that's the thing with time. It goes by really fast, it's a blink of an eye and a whole year's gone by. You don't realise it. The older you get, the faster it goes. And you've been told this 100 times, and sounds cliche, but it's the truth, unfortunately. So yeah, my final advice is for you to take some time, take a break and introspect, see what matters for you, what things feed your soul, what makes you feel happy. You're not meant to just push through life, you're meant to live life. Sounds corny, but it's the way it is. You can spend a whole lifetime doing something you hate just because you think that's the way life is meant to be. Just work hard, put your head down, stop complaining, and get on with it. But it's not that way, or it shouldn't be that way, and there's always an alternative to what you're doing right now. It just takes time and takes effort and takes some sacrifice, and it's not easy. never is. But if you're really unhappy with where you're at, and you think and feel and know deep inside that there is a better life to be lived, then, you know, just go for it. Okay, one last thing before you go. If you have any questions, just leave them below and I will do my best to answer them for you. And as you can tell, this is my first video I've told you, so it's pretty obvious. And you know, all that crap. Subscribe, like, and see you in the next one.